questo?
Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off.
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well, too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Most people don't become thugs when unemployed. This is a choice you made.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
Questa è la vita a Londra, no? Ok, andiamo domande personali. Non abbiamo indizi.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
Ho fatto tutto, sì.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy
No,
Crane?
non volevo.
She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Quindi dovrei avere un indizio in più per lui.
Fancy buying something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you?
Vediamo un po'.
Joe Peterson. He's the villain here, isn't he? But you seem to know each other.
I'd known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice. He was a friend then. But these days, he's just another thug.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer, good one even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
Without making excuses for him, it's safe to say that despair can poison even the sanest mind.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
And no one has ever stood up to this thug.
Nobody would be fool enough to stand against the wet boot boy.
Goodbye
Posso?
for now, Mr. Lewis.
Devo andare a vedere queste famose le famose missioni secondarie. Quante ne ho fatte? 2, adesso ne abbiamo altri. Una qua. Allora, all'ospedale ne abbiamo ancora 2. A Whitechapel ne abbiamo già una. Una l'abbiamo fatta. Ne abbiamo altre 3. Qua non abbiamo il porto, qui abbiamo 1, 2, 5 missioni locali. Adesso qui cosa devo trovare, quindi vabbè. Qui c'è una signora.
Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick. Though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed. Or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
Clayton Darby claims he will expose the crisis in Whitechapel to all of London. Do you believe him?
I believe Clayton's courage will erode with time, until he finally leaves Whitechapel to start another fight somewhere else.
Why this skepticism?
How can you speak about starvation if you've never been hungry? Or about poverty? Or anything else you have never suffered from?
Are you talking from experience?
I've seen your type come here to get a good fuck in a cheap room or a dark alley before going back to their fancy houses in the West End.
Cose abbiamo fatte, donne personali.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
Allora, non la
I always
giudico.
thought I was the master of my own fate. But now I know we don't always have control over our lives. I don't judge you.
You know, this money is not only for me. I have good reasons to need this money quickly. But it is not your concern, Doctor.
Ok, abbiamo fatte. Adesso dobbiamo solo chiedergli ancora dall'infermiera, no? E così siamo a posto.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crasionescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Vabbè,
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself as best you can.
è difficile dire. Vediamo se c'è qualcosa di nuovo con
Good
lui.
evening, Doctor. Can I help you?
Ok,
Christina Popper claims she sells her body because she can't find any other work. Do you believe her?
Of course I do. Her story is exactly what I want my readers to understand. We live in an intolerant and divided nation.
Do you think things will ever change, Mr. Darby?
I believe the situation can only improve. And now that women can vote, I'm convinced things will change.
allora. Vediamo se c'è qualche altra domanda da fare, domande personali. Non abbiamo nessun indizio. L'inchiesta era questa, ok.
Goodbye,
posto.
Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Ok. Adesso io direi
So pale, my lord. Would you like me to revive you?
andiamo da queste parti. Lassù che c'è? Niente di particolare. Questo cos'è? Un buco di fiori con check-up medico gratuito. E questa chi è?
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly. I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it? Melia, I know you work for Dorothy Crane. Please tell me about her secret dispensary. A stubborn and mute comrade. Nurse Crane and Darius Petrescu have been clever.
Beh,
Very well. Goodbye then.
devo trovare sta cazzo di cassetta, eh? Dove sarà la cassetta della posta? Che stiamo cercando? Eccola, trovata. Lettera di Darius Petrescu. Miei cari, amatissimi figli, mi dispiace così tanto non abbiate avuto mie notizie per diversi mesi. La situazione a Londra è complicata. So che può sembrare egoista è stupido quando voi, i miei figli, avete ancora un paese consumato dalla guerra. Ma c'è una guerra anche qui in Inghilterra, una guerra contro la povertà e contro i soprusi. È una guerra che intendo combattere nonostante la mia età avanzata, e per questo vi scrivo oggi. Non tornerò a Romania, probabilmente così in via che non vi rivedrò più prima di morire. Non siete tristi, miei cari, siete grandi ormai, avete dei figli voi stessi. Sapete i sacrifici che talvolta dobbiamo accettare per rendere il mondo un posto migliore. Questo è quello che devo fare ora, per sentirmi utile ancora una volta. Vi auguro una vita lunga e felice. Date un bacio ai miei nipoti da parte mia e ricordatevi che l'affetto di vostro padre oltrepassa i confini di questo paese freddo per raggiungervi. Sono sempre il vostro padre devoto, Darius Petrescu.
The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter.
Bini, adesso andiamo a cercare l'altro. Solite cose di guerra. Questo è chiuso. Com'è che si arriva di là? Che strada si prende? Poi ci ritorno alla chiesa. Di qua non ci arriviamo. Come si fa? Proviamo a girare dall'altra parte.
You are blinded by your daily routine.
Allora, cerchiamo
Unable to see the true horror around you.
andare nel retro. Questo è aperto. Bene. Perché c'è uno scalo da fare. Non muori, maledetto. Gentaglia. Qui? Chi è questo? Un po' morto mi sembra, eh? Porta sigarette. Dovrebbe essere da queste parti, no?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir.
Bene.
Richard Nethercott, at your service.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Yes. The enjoyable silence of the grave. You have a unique perspective on the situation, I must admit.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
Bene.
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this part of town?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city. I had to come, see it for myself, alone.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear doctor.
Bella risposta.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
Ok. Personal question. Ok.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the added hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much. And that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? How she survives? Whom she may know?
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
Did you know the mute florist is a member of a secret society?
No, I didn't. But I thank you for this information, sir. For it only enriches the mystery surrounding the precious Camellia.
Are you not curious? Is there not more you wish to know?
That girl has not an ounce of malice in her. Whatever she may be hiding, it's certain to be for the benefit of most, if not all.
I fear you are a hopeless romantic, Mr. Nethercott.
Guilty as charged, Dr. Reed.
May I ask you a few questions about the district?
Extraordinary part of town, is it not? I'll be glad to help you, if I can.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane, a nurse who lives in this vicinity.
Dorothy Crane. Oh, I love the name. The Crane of Whitechapel. Sounds very mysterious. But, sorry, no, never heard of her.
What can you tell me about an old man called Darius?
Darius Petrescu? Yes, I know him. At first, I thought he was only a small publisher. I invited him to publish my work, but his reaction was pretty clear.
Not interested in your talent?
Darius is an old political activist who takes delight in printing tracts and lampoons. Those communist activities only require mediocre writing skills.
Quindi ho fatto tutto, eh? Sì. Manca un indizio. In realtà due.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Darius is a bit less of a mystery now. It should not be that difficult to incite him to let me in.
Aspetta. E qua dove finiamo? C'è qualcos'altro qua? Ho visto che nei cestini dei rifiuti si trova un sacco di roba da stare. Questa è la zona dove non potevo entrare, adesso magari sbloccandola di qua si può entrare. Sì. E ritroviamo la signorina.
Hello again, miss.
Tell me about Richard Lithercott. I understand he is quite fond of you, Camellia. Very well. Goodbye.
Bene. Io vorrei capire in questo quartiere se li ho visto tutti. Ci manca. Un po' di persone mancano ancora, eh. Ma evidentemente non le ho trovate. Ma credo non sia finita qua, quindi adesso fammi vedere le missioni di Whitechapel. Dove si trova? Lontanissimo, ok. Quindi altra missione che possiamo attivare. In giro il canale è tutta Whitechapel. Albert Palmer. Sì, ma bisogna anche trovarlo Albert Palmer prima di tutto. Altra missione. Bene, questa deve fare cosa quindi questa missione? Recupero la scatola di barra di Lewis. Vabbè, mi sembra fattibile come missione secondaria, no?
Would you like me to remind you?
The walls of your home will not protect you, for there is no protection against malevolence and trickery.
Posso uscire di qua dopo? No. Direi che è una missione giusta per poi chiudere il nostro capitolo. Ok.
Smells like rotten meat. I'm near, I know it. This is no place for a gentleman. Oi! Didn't you hear me? Burn it, boy! I'll send you to hell.
Sempre più pericolosa di sta gente, eh? Quindi siamo al posto giusto, sì. Dobbiamo recuperare questa scatola, non so cosa sia però. Oh. Non è particolarmente facile da sconfiggere, eh? Sto cercando questa maledetta scatola. Dove sarà? Qua su. Io sono proprio nel punto giusto, che non lo trovo.
This could be the box Lewis thought he lost. There's a letter inside.
Bene. C'è qualcos'altro qua? Quindi ragazzi, abbiamo trovato la scatola del signor Julius. Sono 74 minuti che registro, non so quanto riesco a tagliare. Neanche tanto. Ho fatto le mie domande, ho fatto tante cose. Guardiamo un po' la situazione dall'alto, tutto qua. Oh, qui c'è un... Perché non vieni su, ragazzo? Sono 2 di skull qua. 3. Una bella infestazione, Vabbè ragazzi, allora per questo settimo episodio, settimo? Sì, o sesto, settimo o sesto, vabbè non mi ricordo più. Per questo episodio è tutto, ci vediamo alla prossima. Ciao a tutti!